Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto and break it down to bite-sized pieces. Today we're doing a little bit something different. Well, not really that much different because we've already talked about these things before in general. We're talking about price predictions. And I've got my friend all the way from Costa Rica, Jerry Hall, to come in here and help me explain, not just explain, but kind of take a look at my price predictions and for him to say, yeah, that sounds like it's right on, or that sounds like it's a little bit off. And so I always like to get different opinions because I don't like an echo chamber. And Jerry is one of those guys that will set me straight. So Jerry, how's it going?
It's going really well. Thanks for having me on the show today, Rob.
Anytime, man. So if you don't know, Jerry Hall's got his own show. It's a very smart show. And that's why I try to catch it and try to hang with him as he's talking. But smart guy, says a lot of smart things, has a lot of different guests on as far as cryptocurrency. And that's Jerry V. Hall, not Jerry Hall.
Not Mick Jagger's wife.
Not Mick Jagger's wife, Jerry V. Hall. And I think I put Jerry V. Hall's YouTube channel at the top of the description of this video. So everybody, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. So let's see. So Jerry, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about a little price action?
Let's do that. And also let's wish everybody a wonderful holiday weekend in the United States. And for those of you that are outside of the United States, I hope that this Sunday is bringing you a respite from the last 5 weeks. You know, I just caught your premiere prior to this live stream, and that Alex Miskinski tweet storm. I love diving into analytics, right? And when he talks about forecasting another retraction in the market, not based on any kind of gut feelings that he has, but looking at something analytical, right? This is a metric. If you know that X amount of GBTC had a specific chronological lockup and that lockup is going to be removed, well, take a look at what was going on when those contracts were created or that GBTC was purchased in January at an average price of $22,000. And they're going to roll off here in
that's what it was, 22. Thanks, Jerry. Because I couldn't get that 22K. Okay.
A week, right? About a week, these things start rolling off.
Yeah.
How much of that is going to get liquidated for profit? In the crypto space, us retail holders, 50% is nothing. We hold, come on, we're here for thousands of percent sometimes, right? But in traditional markets, to capture a 50% gain in 6 months it's remarkable.
Oh, it's huge. And that's what it comes down to in the traditional market space, right?
So we should expect that a lot of those purchases will get sold off for profit, because that is what they're in business for, right? A lot of hedge funds are not here for 20 years. They're here to get a return for their investors now on a quarter by quarter basis.
It's the truth. It's the truthest. It's the truthest. So if you guys missed the live premiere, now we're doing a live stream. This is exactly what Jerry's talking about. And we talked about this today, and it was from Alex Miskinski. And I had brought this up because the grayscale lockup period is expiring. And what Alex Miskinski says is, he says, hey, we've got 2 capitulation selling events. One is the FOMO, one is a flash sale, and we're about to see a third wave. And he says we're about to get one more wave of selling, mostly from the FOMO of 20 billion with a B worth of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust from Institutional Trade. Hedge funds use leverage loans from Genesis Trading, others to buy Bitcoin in January, February. So 22,000, whatever else it is. And they're going to unload on us around July 17th, 18th, 19th, all the way to the 26th. So just expect a little bit of a pain point, like Jerry just talked about. But who cares?
I'll tell you, I care.
Why do you care, Jerry?
Well, I'll tell you why. There's 2 factors here, and people don't talk about this. I don't understand why. One, let's say you were a new retail investor, right? And you came in and you started buying up in January, right? Your dollar cost averaging in, and you were even putting dollars into, let's say, Bitcoin when it was going up 58,000, 59, 60, 64, 63. The beauty of cryptocurrency that we do not see in the traditional markets, because they have what they call wash trading laws or rules don't apply in crypto, because crypto isn't a security, it's a property. So what I can do is, if I was one of these people who are buying up Bitcoin over the price that it is today, I can sell all of that Bitcoin, book a tax loss, and buy it right back. Yes, I will pay some trading fees, but the trading fees that I pay on a wash trade procedure are minuscule. They're nothing compared to being able to capture that tax loss. So that when I want to or have to do my taxes on my yield that I'm earning, or there's an asset I want to sell and capture a profit on it. So tax loss harvesting is a big issue. Then the other element of this is to think about, okay, if this thesis that Alex from Celsius is rolling out is true, and I believe he wouldn't say it if he didn't have concrete facts, this is the time to be stacking USDC in anticipation of a $29,000 Bitcoin, right? So if I'm already dollar cost averaging, I'm not going to change my principle or my habit or my commitment. I'm just going to change what asset I'm dollar cost averaging into. I'll dollar cost average into USDC, stack some of it.
If
Bitcoin hits $29,000 or whatever if it's lower than my average cost per Bitcoin today, then I am actually making a smart investment. It's a good buy.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
No, I think it's a good thing. The thing is that when everything starts to go down, if you want to stack your USDC or just stack your dollars on the sidelines and go, okay, once this hits, then it's buy the dip, right? It's buy the dip in a different way. But the thing is, though, is like there's been so many damn dips. I'm all dipped out. I got dipped here, I got dipped there, I got dip.
But I do got yield. I am earning yield, and I can convert portions or a percentage of that yield into USDC to build a little stash-a-rooney in anticipation of a July 17th crash-a-rooney.
A little stash-a-rooney and a crash-a-rooney. Jerry, before I forget, Jeff asked a pretty good question. He goes, are the people, are they selling their Grayscale Bitcoin shares, or are they actually selling Bitcoin? Oh, let's see here.
Well, it would be the GBTC shares.
Okay.
Yeah. However, here's an interesting dynamic of GBTC. If people don't understand, it's a fund, and its mandate is every dollar that comes in through the purchase of their shares is to buy Bitcoin. GBTC itself never sells the Bitcoin. GBTC itself has no exit. That's an interesting point. Not a lot of people understand that about GBTC. But how this can affect the price of Bitcoin is if the shares sell off, then you get the traditional market bleeding over into the crypto market. Understand?
Got it.
It's not a one-to-one relationship.
Ratio? Yeah. So that is that little part, and it bleeds over, just like how we see equities bleed over into our space. And that's the problem, if you want to call it like that, of all the traditional players getting into the space. We were so happy, and we're like, damn, well, if the equities go down, then we all go down, because what's liquid 24/7, 365? That's right. All right. So everybody, welcome to the show. I see we got Alex, JDO, Gerd, Chef, Steve Wallstad, DC present. So anyhow, let's get Jerry. You want to do some price predictions?
Let's predict some prices.
So, and then JDO always asks this question. He's like, how do you come to your price prediction? So for me, what I do is there's a Ouija board. Now, seriously. So what I do, what I like to do is, first of all, I take a look at the tokenomics and I say, okay, well, how much does this apply? So let's just take some of the craziness that is Shiba Inu, okay? You're talking to quadrillions, all right? And when people are talking about it's going to $1 or it's going to 20, I'm like, you're a moron. It's not going to go that high because there's so many different tokens. You got to look at that first, right? And then I just say, if I look at it, and I want to take a look also at the history, especially with Bitcoin, and we'll get to the Bitcoin and all the other old stuff that I had before, but I want to start a little bit differently and talk about things like that. So I take a look at the old, how it's hit its all-time high just for this year, not all the way together, but just in 2021, because some cryptos actually in 2017, they were higher than in 2021, which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. And I look at that and I go, is there still potential? Is there still competition? Is the team still together? And are they actually forging forward and actually doing something? And I just take a look at fractals and just overlay things and see how it goes. Now, other people like Jerry have a little bit different, and he will explain his whole apparatus and how he does it, but that's just how I do it. So we'll start with Basic Attention Token. Okay. So I think it's a great project. I think that in the future, like, there's only so much that we can actually sell away and give away as far as our information. Facebook screwed us. Can we just agree? Facebook screwed us, and they sell all your data to all the different people. Well, the great thing about Basic Attention Token is that you can put up with that, and you can actually get paid in Basic Attention Token. I think there's going to be more competition, but look, it's only, when I say only, it kind of sounds weird, but it's only 1.5 billion. The BAT browser has had a lot more different people come in, a lot more. And I think it's at an all-time high. Its all-time high was at $1.55, but the actual user base is growing every day. The price today is 60 cents, so it's down, oh gosh, I mean more than half. And I just looked at it and I go, well, if it's $1.55 in April or May, when we start to see that parabolic run up, everything starts to go, I can see $3. Jerry, do you own any BAT?
I do.
What do you think?
I love the Brave browser, and it was one of these projects that when I looked at it and I was trying to forecast its quote unquote network value, its adoption rate through downloads of Brave, right? That's how I do it. I look at how many new people are downloading the Brave browser. That's kind of my network gauge. How big is the network growing, right? Mm-hmm. It's really small. And it's not compounding at any kind of great rate. So I look at that as a project that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road as far as really getting any scale to it. And that is going to probably be due in large part to people's understanding of how things are monetized and what monetization is. And do you want to take control of monetizing your time? Or are you going to allow these platforms to make you the product by putting ads in front of your face? So it's just kind of this. I don't think a lot of people are hip to this. I mean, it's real easy to reel up against Facebook and go, they steal our data and they do this and they do this. The whole this is all commercialism, man. You know what I mean? Everything. There's nothing for free. So if you're watching a YouTube video and you think it's free, it ain't free. Somebody's paying for it. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't cost you anything, then that means you're the product. Yeah. You're the product.
So Jerry, what do you think about $3? You think that's too crazy?
This year I do. Mm-hmm. This year I do, but I do think that it is going to be one of these tokens that is here. Whereas a lot of these tokens, and I'm not saying the specific ones that you have on your screen, but a lot of the tokens in the industry are going to melt away. Just like if you took a snapshot at the top 1,000 coins a year ago, there are a lot of those that are gone. And how about go back 4 years? Even more of those are gone. They're just not around. Or if they are, they're just dust, kind of sitting in a dustpan somewhere. So I think that's got a long, long journey ahead of it, but I think it's going to be wonderful. So download your Brave browser, collect your BAT tokens, and let it ride.
Well, how about this? Do you think that the price of Basic Attention Token could hit $1.55, its original all-time high of this year?
Yes. From 60 cents to $1.55 by January 1st of 2021. It could. I wouldn't bet on that.
Well, we're not betting. We're just investing, Jerry. That's nothing big.
Yeah, okay. I guess those two things are not mutually exclusive.
So we got that one. How about StormX?
I'll be honest, I know nothing about StormX.
We'll skip it. StormX is one of those. It's actually one of those things you'd actually use. Like you can download it right now. You can go to like, I want to say it's over 700 different sites. And when you buy things like Nike,
it's a shopping incentive, like a lolly or something.
Yes, and then you get crypto back. You can stake it. They just got a nice little partnership with the Portland Trailblazers, the NBA basketball team.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah. So it was at 20 cents, and I thought, maybe go to 50 cents. So, but
I think tokens like they're literally just a digital extension and with more functionality, right? More functionality than a loyalty reward program. And look at how well loyalty reward programs have been over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Airline miles, cash back, dun. What people don't realize is that they're paying for that up front, but it doesn't appear that way, right?
Yeah.
So I think it'll do well. If anything that incentivizes you is going to have some footing somewhere.
Yeah, it took a bit of a tumble when it lost Walmart because Walmart has gone in and out with them. So if they get Walmart again, I think it could definitely do that. And it's a good company, good team, Simon, all that stuff.
So I'm going to look into this ST.
Yeah, StormX.
Okay, keep going. I learned so much on your channel, Rob. Thank you.
Well, I try. I learn a lot on your channel. T-Fuel. So Theta, and I've talked about this at length. Theta, I think, is big because we're talking about the caching of streaming services. They don't compete with YouTube. They're actually working in conjunction with YouTube. Google is one of their validator nodes, their enterprise ones. And Theta is the governance token. T-Fueled is it's like the currency of the blockchain. And it started out like pennies. It hit an all-time high of 67 cents. They just launched their mainnet 3.0. I just did a video yesterday, actually, talking about how you can stake your T-Fuel to get even more T-Fuel, which is just a recirculating type of fund. You can also stake your Theta. So 67 cents. I thought, hey, it could probably go to $1 because it went from nothing to I know it's in the top 50 right now. And I think it's just growing and growing and growing. Also in the fact that it's got a lot of different big partnerships as far as with NFTs. So do you own any, Jerry?
I own some Theta, but I'll tell you, it's such a small portion of my portfolio. Here's the thing. I've placed some bets on some tokens that represent apps that have a possibility of reaching 1 billion users. Theta is an app that has the possibility of reaching 1 billion users. Audius is an app that has a potential of reaching 1 billion people. But I was around and eyeball deep in the XRP army back when Cinnamon Video came out.
Cinnamon.
And the whole concept of the Cinnamon Video platform was, here we are going to monetize this network by directly funding content creators. What a great idea. It never really did anything.
It didn't, because it was competing with YouTube. That's why, I think.
Well, don't you think Theta's kind of going to compete with YouTube? Isn't that the whole premise?
No. Because, Theta, the actual governance token, the whole thing about that is, sure, you can stream on Theta and you can stream on YouTube. But really what Theta is really doing is that they're allowing, because even Steve Chen, who is the founder, one of the founders of YouTube, even on the website, and he's one of the advisors. He says, this is great. And I talk about this because, think about these huge data centers that Google has. They're super expensive. And he's like, it's really hard to get out this information for a 4K. Just HD. Forget about 4K. HD, 4K, 8K, whatever comes up, 100K, I don't know. What would be great is if they could use these decentralized nodes throughout the entire globe. They could cache these different types of streams into people's computers, and then they could pull them off throughout the whole area, and they could just pay a little bit of T-Fuel instead of having to.
So basically an adjunct and a circumvent cloud storage for capacity.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I do own some Theta, and I'm not at all unhappy with it. But
hey, Jerry, you got to check out my video, How to Stake Theta. You're going to love it.
I'm going to have to do that.
I just dropped it yesterday. You're going to love it.
Because I'm into yield. Yield is good.
Yeah, Jerry's a genius at getting yield. That's why I like his channel. Okay, so T-Fuel, you think you hit $1? Not really. There's a lot of users. It's coming up.
Yeah, but I don't see, well,
NFTs?
I would have to understand the manufacturing of T-Fuel component relative to its the demand for it on the network to start to get a ratio and understand. And I'm not that deep into the weeds with the T-Fuel. My buddy Nick Black is really into that. He understands that whole Theta ecosystem far better than I do.
Gotcha. All right, we'll skip it. How about, do you own any Avalanche?
I do.
Okay, talk to us about this one. This is one of those ones that has like a superstar team, and they really haven't broken out. I mean, they're in the top 100, right? And
there's 4 or 5 of these layer 1 protocols or smart contract protocols that are exactly in the same boat as Avalanche.
Yes. And that's one thing that concerns me, because there's so much competition. But maybe I think there's a lot of room for everybody. So looking at the supply, you're looking at a circulating supply of 172, max supply of 377 million, not billion, million.
Right.
The all-time high hit $52, which I was like, that's pretty good. Today's price is $12.50. So even I think it could at least go to 50, but I said, you know what? I think go to 50 plus a little bit more, especially as everything heats up between Ethereum and Cardano. And then again, like you said, the layer 1 solutions like an Avalanche, maybe even a Tezos, who knows? But that's what I got. So where do you see this going this year, Jerry?
Wow. Great. Here's the thing. Although all of these layer 1s, and there's a whole bunch of them we can put in the same exact like basket, if they don't get a gap out that makes it easy for people to use the DEX.
Yeah. No.
Because here's the thing. What is the appeal to a DEX? Well, for most people, it's the ability to have one concrete asset generate a new asset that will hopefully appreciate or hold value.
Yeah.
Right.
I.e.,
create, and that's where yield comes from in these mechanisms. Well, if you don't get that part of the market, you're still years away from other dApps being built on it that are not quote unquote yield or liquidity mechanisms.
Sure.
So that's the only way to get something spun up quickly is DEXing. And I'm not at all convinced that Avalanche or there's like I said, 5 or 6 other of these smart contract protocols that are all trying to do the same thing, but I'm not sure that they've got that worked out. And what have we learned from that whole new brave world of DeFi? That if you don't have it done correctly, you're at high risk for a rug pull, and rug pulls suck. And I'm too attached to my monetary units to easily just throw money at stuff. You know what I mean? Let's hope that I get my 32%.
I got to get, you know, we should ask that question is Mark Cuban. Maybe he knows how it feels for the rug pull. So anyhow, I think Avalanche. So I'm going to have one of their, I think it's the COO on the channel pretty soon. And we're going to talk about what they're doing as far as their DEX, the staking, how the whole thing works. And from what I understand, it's going to happen, and it's going to be pretty big. And it's crazy to me, like all these things are happening at the same time. Do you feel it? Like July, we're going to see EIP 1559 come about with Ethereum. And then in August, we're going to see the smart contracts kind of get rolled out with Cardano. And then, of course, after July, we're going to see these Grayscale Bitcoin shares go.
Well, don't forget about all the parachains goodies coming with
for Polkadot. For Polkadot, exactly, another one that's going to be huge. That's why I think like July is just here so people can accumulate if they're smart enough to do it. Not smart enough. This is just investment opinion, not investment advice. Don't listen to me. I'm a moron. Ask my wife. So like when you do these things, just do your own research and take a look at what you really think could get into it. Look at the people behind it and see if it's a good project. Okay. Avalanche, we'll just put it on the shelf because, You like, I get what you're saying. Because if you guys think I'm conservative, look at Jerry. Jerry's like, I don't know enough. I'm not going to say.
I'm way more conservative than you, but I do own Avalanche, and I stake it within the Avalanche wallet on the Avalanche mainnet.
We got to do a video about that.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so Silo, I doubt you have any of this.
No, I don't.
Okay, so for those at home,
but I will look into it. Because if it's in your portfolio, it's worth I would be ignorant to not investigate.
Jerry, this is the thing. Silo, you know we talk about utility. This is a working app right now. I have it on my phone. It is the combination of WhatsApp, but with true crypto encoding to when you send messages and even video files. True. So it does that. On top of that, it's like Venmo. I don't know what you have in Costa Rica, but you can send your cryptocurrencies, and they have like over 200 different types you can send through the app. And it's also like Filecoin, where you can store all your different data and documents in a decentralized manner. And
does it incentivize me to use it?
How so? You can stake it.
Oh, okay. Through the app. You can own Silo and stake it in the app?
Right. So,
did you just say yield?
So there's that. And so take a look at it.
I will.
And it's been around since 2016, 2017. I always forget.
So a sixth of a cent price today,
right,
with a market with a total supply of 10 billion and a 2.8 billion circulating supply. My only question when I see those kind of disparities, right? Because that's a 70% disparity between total supply and circulating supply. When I see disparities that large, the question I ask myself is, where is it? Where is that 70 billion tokens at? Are they held by the partners and the founders and because the last thing in the world I want to do is invest in a project just to make a founder rich. No, you laugh, but I'm serious.
You would love my token called Tomato Coin. It's 100% owned by me. And if you just send me 10 Ethereum, we can work something out.
Do you know who owns that 70 billion?
So tokenomics. So look, there was a video I did. Let me see if it's here.
Boy, you're a busy guy.
I told you. So I did a video on that.
Okay.
Silo is a decentralized WhatsApp Filecoin and blah, blah, blah. And it was lockup periods. And I forgot the tokenomics specifically. I'd have to watch the video. God, it was only a week.
Okay, well, I can find some of that info out right here on CoinMarketCap. Carry on. You're doing a great job, by the way.
Thanks, Jared. So check that out. And then we'll go from there. But I thought it was all about lockup periods. And I actually had two of the founders on, and they explained the tokenomics. And it seemed legitimate. So let's see. Where am I? What is going on? Okay. So Silo, there's another token called Cent. I have to skip it because I don't know enough about it. I own it, and it's because it's a friends of the show, Alex Mascioli and Trade the Chain. There's announcements apparently coming out, but they're not coming out yet, so I'm going to skip it. Solana.
Another one of these, elegant, technically advanced layer 1 protocols or smart contract protocols.
Is this the one it's got, as far as like throughput, transactions per second is like 5,000 or 50,000 TPS or something?
Enbodes, easy interoperability. And of course, like every other, we are going to have the most wonderful DEX in the world, and we're going to have liquidity provision X, Y, and Z. Come on over to Solana and stake your Luna and whatever else you want to put on here. And we'll create 25,000 coins, and we promise you won't get rug pulled until you get rug pulled, and then we'll apologize on Twitter and move on to the next thing.
We'll move on to the next rug pull. Are you telling me that Solana's a rug pull, Jerry?
No.
Is that what you're saying? How dare you?
I'm saying that as an investor, it is important to be cautious with any of these things, because remember, a lot of these entities have been running fast and breaking things in the hopes to get something to market. And you know what? When it comes to my money, I don't want my money in the wild, wild west. I'd like it in something that's been engineered properly, that the bugs have been worked out before my money went into it. And I'm conservative like that. Now, will I miss out on 25,000x returns on some of these projects? Yes, I will. I'll be the guy sitting there only making 700% a year. I'm sorry.
You know what? And this is the thing that kind of, it doesn't.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly. It doesn't make me, it kind of makes me mad. Like on Twitter, like people are like, Rob, you got to get into this project because it's going to 10x or it's going to 1000x or whatever else it is. Rob, you got to do this one and you're a moron if you miss it. And Rob, you got to look, I can't get into all these projects. I've only got so much. I mean, I don't know how much money you think I've really got, but I don't. So like and this goes for everybody. If someone's not into your project, it doesn't mean that they don't believe in it or they don't think it's going to be great. It's just that they've got their own projects to pick. I mean, geez, Louise, we've got 10,000 different cryptos out there. It's pretty tough to get into every single one of them. So if someone's not into your project, just let it go. Let it go and be like, well, I think it's great and it's going to be good. And then just find the people that agree with you. And then you can guys talk about how great whatever this project is that you're into. That's all I can say. It's kind of annoying sometimes when people are like, you really should get into this. It's so awesome. Like, I can only get into so much. Anyhow, that's my little rant, Jerry. Okay.
Well, I think everybody's like that, right? Everybody should have an understanding of what capital that they can deploy into the investment world, and then understand what categories they should, from a strategy perspective, invest in. This is my overall. This is just the quick kind of 10,000 foot looking down. I invest in Bitcoin as a store of value. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to get rich off of Bitcoin. I've got a large portion of my portfolio is directly into layer 1 smart contract protocols, because I believe those will be the platforms that applications that reach 1 billion people will be built on.
Yeah.
And then I've got some utility tokens.
Like
Nexo, Celsius coin. I think I don't have any Voyager, but I think it's a wonderful coin. Coins that add value to its ecosystem in a big way.
Yeah.
Right. Celsius coin adds a ton of value if you are on the Celsius network. The Nexo token gives a tremendous amount of value to somebody who's on that network. Those are utility tokens. And there's a bunch of them. And I have a few.
Yeah.
And then I got some wild cards, what I call lottery tickets. I've taken a little bit of yield from this and allocated it to that, and I let it sit there. Yeah. And hopefully it's, I generally don't ever invest in anything that I can't stake or get some yield on some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But this is how I've invested in Decentraland, my BAT investment, all these things. I've taken yield from existing mechanisms, diverted that over into an allocation into this asset, and then found a place to put that asset so that it can generate more of that asset, creating its own little dollar cost averaging mechanism.
Yeah. Staking is going to radically change my exit strategies and I'm going to release another one, because there's so much yield to have for all these different cryptos. I mean, imagine this. Imagine if you could be, you watch this video at the very forefront of everything that has to do with crypto and digital assets, right? Imagine the next 20 years, what's going to happen. I mean, look what happened in the previous 10. Bitcoin went from pennies or nothing to $64,000 at its all-time high. So imagine these other ones and what's going to be built on them. So if you're looking at generational wealth, some of these things, maybe it's not a great idea to get rid of and just kind of go, you know what? I'm just going to stick half of this and just start staking it. Now, they all won't stay around forever. But imagine if you get like a nice staking rewards over the next 5 years over some of these. Why not?
Well, one of the wonderful things that we get to do with these projects is read white papers and understand the premise or the mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Like, case in point, Cardano. 45 billion total.
Yeah.
There will never be more than 45 billion, right? Do you know when they will exhaust that? When the mechanism itself, the protocol, will no longer generate any more Cardano?
No.
It's like 100 years from now.
Oh. Well,
so if you understand, in other words, you can stake your Cardano and return a Cardano token back to you, not transaction fees or any of these kind of things, for another 100 years.
I know.
This is an important factor when I'm looking at how I'm going to structure and hold things short-term, long-term, etc. Remember, Bitcoin does not have a yield mechanism unto itself. It doesn't. Bitcoin has no yield generation mechanism in the protocol. These are all third parties that have come in, and it's because there's a market. The market has created the need for a company to create a platform to make that available.
Like Celsius, Nexo, blah, blah, blah.
Etc., BlockFi, Abra, blobbity, bloobity, blobbity, blue. And as that market gets more and more competitive, it'll be interesting to see how far out the edge they go.
So you're talking about like yields, like 10, 20%, something crazy?
Well, I don't know. It depends. I don't know if that's crazy. Yeah, the market will dictate. Celsius has got this great thing I love. They change their rates every week based off of their market.
Yeah.
I think Voyager does something very similar. Nexo will soon do the same. All of Abra does the same. Where I think it's going to be interesting is in the, not so much the yield generation, but on the dollar side of it, the borrowing side of it. Like, I don't know if you've realized, a 10% loan to value ratio on Abra. So if you have $100, you could borrow $10 for 0%. Zero.
Not bad.
Not
bad.
This many.
This many. Yeah, I know. Pretty good. Pretty great, right?
I keep taking you off the prediction thing because you can see I'm not a big prediction price guy, but let's keep going.
We're good. So Sue asked a good question, and I'm just going to jump around a little bit. How do you fellas feel about Bitcoin Cash? Jerry, do you own any Bitcoin Cash?
No, and I'll tell you why. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Platinum, Bitcoin Tomato. Every one of those proof of work protocols has one thing and one thing only. It is an excellent accounting system.
Okay.
But without a market, there's no what value does it really bring? Bitcoin has clearly crushed all of its competition in the proof of work category. So why would I invest? It's like, Rob, you got to make an investment in the soft drink industry. Okay, you have to make an investment in the soft drink industry. You get to choose Coca-Cola, the king,
right?
The next competitor, Pepsi, and like number 30 down on the list is Kirkland
Fanta.
Brand, or Fanta, whatever. Where are you going to get the most returns from? You're going to get it from the king. You're going to get it from the one with the largest user base.
It's the safest. But what if there's like, just devil's advocate, like let's just say you go to like Fanta and all of a sudden like, hey, we're going from Mexico, or we're going from America, we're going to branch off into Canada and Mexico, and we're going to make a big run because it's so down.
Look, we just signed a deal with the Teletubbies.
Right. So like, you never know. Like it's one of those things, and that's where these altcoins come in. So me personally with Bitcoin Cash, this was my prediction on January 7th. It was $480. I thought on that day it would go to $8,000 at the end of the year. And I was pretty certain. Its all-time high hit $1,500. And then today it's around $500. And I've drastically reduced that to only 5,000 because the big thing about Bitcoin Cash is cheap transactions and super fast. But when I see that documentary by Vice about Bitcoin, regular Bitcoin using the Lightning Network with Jack Mahler's Strike, and how people are actually using it, and it's super quick, I'm like, that doesn't look good for Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Cash.
So what would be the addressable market for all of those proof of stake coins that are not Bitcoin? It's like Bitcoin, but cheaper. So yes, it will get some appeal from a brand new, uneducated investor in this space who says, my mind thinks one unit, one coin is one coin. I don't think about the divisibility of the coin, the fractions. So I can buy a Bitcoin for 35 grand, or I can buy a Bitcoin Cash for 500. I'll buy the Bitcoin Cash.
Well,
but those particular
investors
tend to get educated pretty quickly. So I think a large part of its quote unquote appeal or market is going to be educated out of the token.
Jerry, I don't know, man. I don't know. Have you been on TikTok lately?
Oh, you mean that is there not so much education going on anymore? Not high on the list of priorities?
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you, there's some meme coins that are like, they're going to $100 next week. You got to get in. I'm like, you guys are morons. But whatever. So no, I think some people do get educated, and it's like my friend CJ from Rock Rebellion. He always quotes some of the older investors, and he says, "Buy first, research later. It'll make you research really fast." I was like, man, that's a good point. All right, so that's that part. So Solana, do you got a price prediction for Solana? Where do you think it's going? Let's just say that.
I'll tell you what. I'll let you go through and do yours. My price predictions are that we're going to have another uptick in the market before the end of the year, and it wouldn't be out of the question for any of these coins to hit previous all-time highs.
Oh, of course. See, that's super conservative. Okay. So how about this? You talk about layer 2 solutions. Do you have Polygon?
Mm-hmm. Of course, because it makes Ethereum better.
Yeah. What do you think?
Because I own Ethereum. That's why I only own Polygon, because I own Ethereum.
So I got it. Like even if Ethereum fixes a lot of things with their ETH 2.0, which I don't know when that's going to actually happen, but you'll still need a layer 2 solution, I think, because there's going to be so many people using Ethereum. That's how it is. So I thought, okay, 6.3 billion is the circulating 10 billion max. $2.40 was the all-time high. It went to half. So I thought, I think it can hit that and maybe go to 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's my low case, all the way up to 8. And it really depends on the people that get behind it. Because if you got a Mark Cuban, as long as he doesn't get rug pulled again and people just are like, this guy's a moron.
And you also need a dApp. With a layer 2, you need a dApp that creates a user experience that garners more user adoption.
Yeah.
Right. Without that, you don't have anything, really. You have Mark Cuban buying some. You have you and me talking about it because we can see the potential, but there is no, if there's no there, what's the point?
What's the point? Okay. So we got that one. Polygon. Swissborg. I don't think you own any Swissborg. Swissborg is kind of like, well, Swissborg it's a brokerage, kind of like Voyager. It goes to different exchanges, but they are in the EU, and Voyager, of course, is only America. So it was a billion supply. Its all-time high was $1.50. Today's price is 63 cents. I thought I could hit that plus more because I think they're doing some expansions, a lot of different partnerships. So I said 4.
So Swissborg is the coin. Would be the direct relationship to the Cell token to Celsius.
Pretty much. And
then it's got a huge upside. Because as this market grows, more and more people, I mean, we love yield, and you can't get it in the real world anymore, really.
Yeah.
Really. So that has huge upside to it.
I'll take it.
If it really creates value for its users.
If. So let's go through these real quick. IOTA, this is a crapshoot because it's way ahead of its time. It's a blockchain, but it's not. It's the DAG, the acrylic graph, something like that. 2.7 billion circulating supply. All-time high was 250. Now it's 84 cents. I think it could double to $5. BTT.
I'm gonna buy some when IOTA is embedded in my robot maid, who can pay my robot Uber driver and pay my robot what do they call it? Uber Eats guy, and all that Internet of Things is paying. You know, the non-human actors are having their own economy.
Yeah.
Then I'm in. Until then, I'm passing on. There's other things to put my money into.
BTT. I'm going to skip this one. It's file sharing type of thing. But you know what?
Really tough.
How about Filecoin?
Love it.
So what do you think? Because I think there's a huge, just like we talked about with Theta, there's a huge market, I think, for getting rid of these data centers that first you have to have the actual land, then you have to build the facility, then you have to have the servers, then you have to have people that run it. Why don't you just do it in a decentralized way and be able to
I don't think they'll get rid of those. I think what they're going to do is use as an adjunct,
exactly,
right? A supplement, an add-on.
Right.
And there's a huge market for Filecoin because business and the expansion to digital is just this ever marching march forward. I've used the same word 3 times in the sentence.
Yeah, I think, and just like DNB says, Filecoin's a great buy because it was way higher before, wasn't it? I want to say, yeah, what? It was $212 for the all-time high. Now it's at $60.
No, Filecoin, the concept of Filecoin is monstrous. Will the execution produce value for its investors? That's always the name of the games. But it's not a bad idea to have some exposure to Filecoin now.
I think $300 is. I think we can hit that, especially with when people start to get in. And where is it? Where is Filecoin listed? Is it on Coinbase?
I will tell you exactly where Filecoin gets listed.
Thanks, Jerry. I got to do a video on that one. Let me grab some questions here. Filecoin will get targeted as a security? Debatable, maybe.
Very debatable.
Hey, Celsius is a security. Seems to work out okay.
So you got Binance Global, Coinbase, Gate.io, and Huobi Global, just to name a few. You got Kraken, KuCoin. Did I mention Gemini?
Oh,
how about Bittrex? I mean,
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, you can't swing a dead cat without having access to Filecoin.
Perfect. I like that.
So there's no excuses for any of you out there not to have at least one Filecoin in your portfolio.
Chi-Town XRP takes your advice. He says Filecoin is Coke and BTT is Pepsi. I can see that.
I love analogies.
Those are good analogies. Okay, so we got that one. Hey, so this is, I know you own this one because you talked about it. Mana.
Oh, dude, close your eyes for a minute, Rob, and let me take you on a journey. So just suppose, right, all these incredible online businesses that you've been an entrepreneur around this for a long time, whether it be creating tutorials and things for the medical world, even your YouTube channel. Let's say people can put on their glasses or plug into their computer and go into the virtual world and with a coordinate, go to your store and be in a virtual experience where maybe over here you've got the virtual the Dan doing Bitcoin 101, but right over here in this corner of the store is you doing your video, doing your explanation of Filecoin. And then over here at the desk is you, your avatar. You're really there doing a consultation with a client, but all of this is going on in a virtual world.
What?
Yes, it's happening. It's coming. Yes.
I don't know if I can wrap my head around that, Jerry.
Well, then don't buy any mana. But
no. I see. I already did, and it was like someone explained to me. It's like that Ready Player One show or video or movie that came out. They go, imagine this, Rob, in a world where everything is coming through, and everything is virtual, just like we talk about with land itself. The next evolution is to buy space in the virtual world. There are going to be so many different ones, but usually if you have first mover advantage, a lot of the times that's the one that people want to go to. So you're going to buy this virtual pieces of landscape, right? And that could be like, so you'll have like a Central Park version, but that in the value alone. And then you're going to have some like, real junk places. But imagine getting some really good ones, and people want to actually put billboards there. They want to actually advertise. They want to sell virtual commodities, virtual e-commerce, NFTs, and everything else. I was like, okay, I get that. So, like,
how about virtual casinos?
Yes, that's another thing they talked about. Because imagine, there's a lot of different places that people love to gamble, don't they? My friend Alex Mascioli loves to gamble, and I will just tell you this. There's places that you can't gamble because it's not legal. But if you go online to a virtual world, slip your headset on, and be like, "Ooh, here we go," and then you just start gambling away your mana. I think that'd be big. That'd be really big, scary big.
I think that'll be one of the first major monetization elements of that whole what they call megaverse. Metaverse. But I honestly believe that what you grew up with, marketing through a website-based approach to things, is going to morph over into, you're going to market through a metaverse system, and it'll be obviously it'll be a much more inclusive user experience.
Yes.
Which will benefit your users, your potential clients, and potential customers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, don't be surprised if Amazon has lots of territory there. Don't be surprised if Alibaba has tremendous amount of territory there.
Yes, imagine that. And then they have big money. They go where the eyeballs are. Right?
Big money. They're the biggest money on the planet.
Yeah.
Name me a company larger than Amazon.
This is true. Okay, so we got that one. How about, thanks, Grant. It is the greatest.
I keep derailing you, and I apologize.
No. These are good discussions, because like the things that, when we talk about mana, I didn't really get it. I got a piece of it, but then there's another piece to it. And I know there's like 10 more layers to it I don't get yet. That's why, again, invest first, do your research later. Sometimes that's what I do. I'm not telling that's what you should do. Investment opinion, remember, not investment advice. Digibyte, since I've gotten into crypto in 2017, man, everybody talked to me about Digibyte. It's going to be the next big thing, and you don't understand and how fast it is and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. Sure. I bought Digibyte. This is probably one of my most knee-jerk buys, because I've been hearing about it for 4 years. I'm like, no. I bought a little bit during that huge 50% dump during the when the car salesman was doing all those stupid tweets, and it went down, and I was like, all right, I'll get some Digibyte. So I had to put it on because this is the things that I own. So anyhow, 14 billion, that's a lot. Circulating supply, 21 billion max. All-time high was 16 cents. Now it's at 4. I thought, well, I'll throw it a bone, a quarter. Do you own any Digibyte? What do you think about it? You don't even care about it.
It's a payments token. There are places where, they have created commercial relationships. I know for a fact that you can use Digibyte to purchase from some of the fast food restaurants in Venezuela.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if it is less volatile than a country's currency, then right on. But it is a proof of stake protocol. It requires mining. You can't validate the Digibyte network without nodes and validators and miners. And it just seems to be a whole, with XRP, XLM, XDC, Strike on Bitcoin, the payment space is getting so crowded with this technology that it's going to be very difficult for anybody to say there's going to be a winner in the payment space. I think it's too early to call.
No. Yeah, but there's so many things to go through that.
So I don't know. I don't have any money in a Digibyte because I see it just as another one of these proof of stake mechanisms trying to do something that it isn't. Proof of stake is not a great mechanism for payments.
Yeah.
Number one, that's like the biggest uphill, or what you call headwind.
Yeah.
For Digibyte.
Obi, thanks for the donation. Appreciate it. People say it's a good coin. I'm gonna hold on to it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you own it, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. Okay, so we got that one. Where are we here? Now we come into
Meld.
So let me move this. Let me get this out of here. So the last two are Meld and World Mobile Token. So Meld, I did a video on this, and it was the last one 4 days ago. Meld is crazy because what it does, hold on real quick.
I am going to be checking out that video directly after this live stream because I just got turned on to Meld, and I am huge into yield, as you know.
And it's crazy because as it was described to me, let me pull this up. Can you see this? Yeah. So All right. So yeah, we go through what it is, how it all works, and basically in a nutshell, this is how it's working. It goes like this. It's going to be like a Celsius, but it is
decentralized Celsius.
Decentralized Celsius.
Running on the Cardano network, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, Jerry, that's all you need to know. So it's described like this. Let's say you're like, I need 50 grand. Okay, cool. Well, let's say Bitcoin's worth 50,000. They're going to say, give us 2 Bitcoin because you need to collateralize a 2x. We'll give you $50,000 in fiat. It's instantaneous. It'll go there. And then we're going to take those 2 Bitcoins that you give us. We're going to use that as a liquidity provider for our MELD token. And you're going to be earning in MELD. And we're not going to do anything. We are not going to give it away like a Celsius or like a Nexo does, but we're going to use that to actually gain some yield for you. We're going to take a little bit of that though as well, but most of it's going to go back to you, and we're going to be able to pay off your loan for you.
The mechanism of the collateral to pay off your loan for you.
Yeah, which is insane. If I was like it was hard to when he first told me, I was like, that makes sense. So then we talked about it and we did some nuts and bolts. I'm like, okay, well, I can see it. But again, it's new, and this is it's something interesting. And then the last thing that was interesting was that, and I'm not saying that this is something you should get into for you at home. So you have to understand that this is brand spanking new, risky, as all cryptocurrency is. Digital, this is investment opinion, not investment advice. And I will just say that the coolest part about it is that they have what's called an ISPO. And an ISPO is an initial stake pool offering instead of a private sale, meaning that anybody throughout the entire globe can get into it and not have to go through AML, KYC type of stuff. So how this works is, and I've already put a good, not a great chunk, but a pretty good chunk of Cardano, because it's run on the Cardano blockchain, into their stake pool, which is called MELD. And they have
so you're actually staking your ADA into an ADA stake pool, and that particular stake pool, all the ADA that it generates from the ADA network is going into its coffers, and it's going to give you its MLED token,
right,
instead of ADA back.
Right. So I was like, well, that's not a bad deal, because let's say for some reason it's a rug pull. Okay. Well, that sucks. But at least I didn't give them 10 ETH or 100 ETH or whatever craziness. And I'm just going to lose a little bit of my rewards. I'm going to get a lot more in MELD going forward. But I think to me, it looks like a legit project. It has a really good team. You can watch the video on it. And again, just go over to Dan Clips and it'll be right there. But this is, Jerry, this is one of my fatal flaws, which is that I believe that everybody's like me. I don't think that people are, by and large, scammers, everybody. I think if you really want to really make a lot, if you're looking to make a lot of money, why would you just scam everybody out of it? Why wouldn't you just build a really great product, work on that product real hard, give it to people, give it to your customers, and then have this type of platform for years and years and years to come?
Well, because one requires commitment over a long period of time, and the other, the first one only requires a little bit of ingenuity and an exit plan. Yeah.
See, like to me, that's my fatal flaw, and I always have to tell myself, Rob, you have to understand, some people suck. That's how it is. Now, I will say
this looks promising, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, and to think about it, when you do risk reward, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not taking money out of actual US dollars out of my normal investment routine, I'm just applying a little bit of yield that I would have been generating from Cardano and diverting it into a new token position. There's no downside. You don't lose. Like, let's say I took 5,000 Cardano and pointed it at the MELD staking pool.
Yeah.
I'm still in control of that Cardano. That 5,000 Cardano, it's in my wallet, my private keys.
That's what's great about
only
Cardano.
The delegation rewards that are coming back to me in the form of the MELD token.
Yeah.
I first got wind of that mechanism with Sunday Swap, and I think it is a wonderful mechanism to help bootstrap a project and reward early community members.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And so real quick, let's take a look at how much they've actually accumulated for their
let's do that.
So there's a website, and I always forget it, so I always have to go to my website to get there. Not
that we're trying to plug Dan Teaches Crypto, but it's an excellent website. If you haven't signed up, get the free newsletter.
Well, Jerry, I am the king of the shills, so I am plugging it as I do both these things. So go to danteachescrypto.com, 100% free. I made it 100% free, so everybody can just go there and learn things. I don't really, just go there and learn. This is how to stake your Cardano. I made a nice video, very quick. And if you're not staking your Cardano, why not? It's just sitting there. It's 4 to 6% APY. Why not? It never leaves your wallet. There's no slashing fees. You can undelegate at any time, at any moment. Doesn't really matter. Anyhow, and when you go here, you can see how we compare. But there's one thing. This website here. Like here's we have 2 pools. So this is DNews 2, I think. We've got 28 million, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at MELD. So saturation point is 63 million, just so you know. Jeez Louise, they've already got 4. Holy smokes. So MELD 1 has, oh my God.
You think somebody's heard of it already? It's
almost saturated. So and what they did is they made MELD 1, it's totally like if you put in 10,000 ADA, they're going to keep your ADA for the rewards, but they're going to give you the MELD token at, really reduced price of what it really would sell for whenever it launches. So that's that part. But they've done another one where it's 50-50, where you can put in your ADA and they'll give you 50% of your ADA rewards from whatever you stake, plus 50% of MELD, which is pretty, I think it's MELD 2. Just go to their website. And their website's pretty simple. It's meld.com. They're at 12% saturation. That's pretty good. What about MELD 3? God dang, 42 million. That's crazy. What about MELD 4? 25,000. Okay. So good for them.
It's brand new.
Whew, that's going to be a project. All right. So that's what's going on, Jerry. So I think it's got a 4 billion market cap. 4 billion circulating supply. So if we just look at, first of all, what it does, it's going to be built on the Cardano network. So it has to wait for the smart contracts to come through in August. With what it's doing, what it promises to do, it could be massive. I just said, I don't know where it's going to start, but a quarter, I think, is somewhat conservative enough if it has this much hype around it already. So I can see doing pretty well. So I've gone into it. Investment opinion, not investment advice. Do your own research. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you what I am doing. And that's what I got for MELD. That was almost like a pitch.
Interesting.
Right. Tomato coin is fake. How dare you? All right. So our last one is World Mobile Token. And this one, I think, is going to be pretty big. Jerry, you've heard me talk about this one, I think, right?
I've looked into it. I love it. I loved the idea, which created more research into it, only to come to find something that scared the poo out of me.
Oh, let's hear it. What do you got?
Look at the tokenomics. Look how much the owners, the founders, the partners, and the seed round investors get. 70% of the tokens.
Let's see. World Mobile. So the seed rounds, actually the seed is going on right now. It's a 2 billion total.
Take a look at token distribution. It's kind of scary.
Token.
I think you're going to need to... There you
go. But, Jerry, remember...
I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. I think it is so cool.
Yeah.
to create a telecommunications network from a grassroots and build it up versus having a monster company come in and blanket an area and therefore take everybody in that area hostage to their rates and their and no way to monetize anybody within the system. It's just an extraction. It's an extraction of value mechanism, where this is when you can build a network of actual on the ground people, you're building value in the community as well as providing wonderful services and Yeah. I think it's a great idea. I just did not like how much the founders and the partners were receiving. Look at it. Add up all those wonderful little things.
So like, let's say like node operators, that's 30%. That's a lot of.
Who are the nodes? Can you fire up a node?
Yes. Yes, I can. You need 100,000 World Mobile Token to be an Earth node.
Exactly.
So
how do you get 100,000 World Mobile Tokens to fire up a node?
Well, you have to buy the World Mobile Token.
How? I can't buy any right now.
Well, first of all, in Costa Rica, I don't know how it works. Americans can't do it because we're screwed out of these types of things, right?
Exactly.
But there's other places outside of America and Costa Rica where they can buy.
I've heard that's true. I heard there is a larger world than the U.S. and Costa Rica, but I can't confirm that because I haven't been there.
I don't believe it because I'm an American.
Okay, 29 for the node operators.
Okay.
Almost 20% just for the founders. Then look at the partnerships, right? Yeah. Add all those things. I was counting nodes in that when I said 70%, because right now the people who are the nodes are all these guys. They're all these partners and co-founders are the ones getting the nodes. They're the node people.
Well, so they don't have nodes up yet, Jerry. They don't have nodes up. That's the thing.
They will be the ones. Trust me.
They will, and I'm going to tell you why they're not going to be the ones.
Okay.
There's just like XRP has their own nodes, right? Just like Binance has their own nodes. They will be part of the nodes, of course, but it won't be the whole thing. So right now, this token generation event is going on. It actually started on today at like 1 a.m. or something crazy like that. And how it worked, there was like week 0 through week 5. And they were going to they're going to sell 200 million. That was in the private sale, 200 million, right? So 200 million for week 0 through 5. And the very first week 0, which is July 4th, let me do some quick math. 7 plus 4. That's, So July 11th. Carry the 1. July 11th. They're only going to give out 25% of that 200 million. So again, quick math. 50 million.
50. Yeah.
Yes, 50 million. So we got 50 million in the very first week. However, you can only buy up to $2,000 worth of World Mobile Token, which is sold at 20 cents
per buyer.
And they can only get 50 million. Now, so that starts there, which I thought was a pretty good deal. On the second week, it does get a little wonky, where they say you can go up to 100,000, and then it's another certain percentage of that total token of the remaining 150 million. Then for the next week, another 100,000, which is week 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. I doubt very much they're going to get into that week 2 because there's so much, from what I understand, excitement around everything else. So we're like, okay, so if we have that, there are going to be some people that are going to snatch these up. I can't do squat because I'm, first of all, I'm an advisor to these guys, just so everybody knows. Public disclosure, I'm an advisor. So I try to set them up with the different types of things that would help them get the message out. So I talk about it. I reach out to people and I say, you should have them on your show and blah, blah, blah. However,
were you part of the decision to make Jessica Walker their public face on YouTube?
Who's Jessica Walker?
She's the blonde with the Australian accent who interviews and does all the World Mobile Token marketing stuff on YouTube.
Well, I'm not a really good advisor because I don't know who she is. She sounds great.
Real pretty girl.
Well, there we go. That's why I'm not doing it. So it goes from there. But I will say this, and this was what we did an interview yesterday. Yeah, yesterday with Cedric, and he's part of the community advisor. And he said that, remember, there's a lockup period of 20 years. for all these different tokens, for the co-founders, for the partnerships and everything else. So I was like, well, okay, we'll go with that.
I didn't read that anywhere. Where is that part?
It's right
there.
Yeah, where I got my big fat thingy here.
The rest will be released over 20 years. Yeah, that doesn't say. Okay.
Well, you're right. It doesn't exactly say how much. You got a point. So we'll do a little deeper dive into it, but it looks promising. And then where's the thing? I always like this video. They go into Tanzania, or as I originally called it, Tanzania, until somebody corrected me. They go into Tanzania and they put up these solar panels and these nodes, these mesh nodes. They create telecommunications. They create internet service for these villages because the mobile service providers that are going in there, it's too expensive for them to do. And then the blockchain part, which is World Mobile Token, that's going to give them the digital ID built on the Cardano Foundation. It's also going to be able to give them to financial services, also going to be able to give them into hopefully healthcare services, and also, just spending things and all those things. So I thought it was an interesting thing, and they've already done it, and they've already spread out into Nigeria and a couple more different villages. So we'll see. This is one of those.
It's a wonderful concept.
It is a wonderful concept,
and it's the kind of concept that feeds and adds value to everything we're doing. Right. Yeah. The digital expansion and the exchange of value digitally is the future. So everything that we can do to get people who didn't have access to that system benefits us indirectly and directly.
Yeah. And then Lawrence has a good question. He says, whoops, that's not it. Who thinks ADA is doing it right? Well, I think they're doing okay. Crypto Caddy says, no way they are building their own network. Who owns the cables under the ocean? So here's the thing. The cable operators and all the different cables that go there. Let me share this screen. These cable operators, they can get them to part of the village. That's true. But they're not going to go to each individual hut and build them out because guess what? It's way too expensive. So the fiber optics are there, but to give to every single little house like you would do in the North America or the EU, where they put cable optics and fiber into each house, this is not happening. That's why they do that thing. So that's like their last mile. Okay. Rob, please have crazy for CryptoZone. Dave, yeah, if he ever stops sitting around in his green screen and actually gets on the show. I've asked him 10 times. He's always, I'm busy. So we'll see. I like Dave, but he's too busy for me. All right. So what's the next one here? I think that's it.
That was your deal. I had done something for you, just a quick kind of math equation kind of thing that I'm I'm using myself for forecasting. It doesn't have much to do with the actual dollars, but it does have everything to do with the premise. If these are digital monetary networks and their value will be derived by more and more participants on the network, i.e. like a Metcalfe's law kind of premise. Well, we have the advantage in these blockchains of having scan explorers, being able to look at new wallet creation, new activity, old activity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if we just look at, let's take Bitcoin because it's kind of the big daddy, right? Everybody talks about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's adding 4 million users a month, which is 1 million a week, and we look at that relative to the existing network, right? So we're doing by the end of the year, right? So by December 31st, Bitcoin could grow by 42% at a 6% a month clip.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Right. So we would go from our 150 million users to 240 million users by December 31st, 2021. What can we extrapolate that user base will consist of? Is it going to be primarily retail, primarily investment capital? Because obviously investment capital tends to bring more dollars to a monetary network than a retail investor can, right?
Right.
So we just look at what the participation rates have been over the last year and move them forward to these new expanded numbers. Right. So kind of on the back of an envelope, I'm looking at Bitcoin, hitting $80,000 by Christmas and hold, having that be kind of the benchmark. I'm sure there'll be some overshots and some corrections and up and down, but I think if it's fair to say you could add 42% to the entire market of the top 20, 30 coins.
42%. I like that.
From where we are right now.
Right. Okay.
And have that be kind of a general rule of thumb and see how far over or how far below. That's how I do it as a forecasting mechanism.
Okay. So for the slow people like myself, say that one more time.
Add 42% to whatever the coin it is that you like right now. And that more or less most likely will be the end of the year price. Based off of looking at networks, not other components of partnerships or news or who tweeted this or who tweeted that. So
42% from the price right now or the all-time highs?
The price right now. Right now. I
am a little bit more, you know what, Jerry, you are the most conservative guest I've ever had. No, that's good. That's good. That's why I want you on the show. I am now the moon boy. I am now the one that's going with the crazy predictions. So Bitcoin is at, what is it, 35,000?
35.
I think it's going to around 100 and 130K by the end of the year.
Well, wait, maybe are we talking about two different things? Are you talking about an all-time high it'll hit and then it'll retrace back to, in price discovery will bring it below that? Or are you talking about what you think the baseline price will be?
No,
baseline value.
Not baseline value. I'm just talking about where we can expect or potentially see for like a pretty high price for a particular token at any time during the 2021 calendar year. That's what I was going with. And then Martin says, Dan, can you ask World Mobile Token to add Jamaica to their KYC country? I can ask. I'll tweet at them, but they don't really respond to me too much. But I can always ask, though.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to stick to my prediction. That way, I would rather have a conservative math-based forecast than a hopium type thing. Because if the hopium thing comes true, right on. I'm still happy because I'm the one holding the assets, right? And if it doesn't, then I'm not let down.
So, okay, Jerry, here we go. You ready for this?
I'm ready, baby. Hit me.
Are you ready? Well, first of all, everybody follow Jerry over on his channel. You cannot miss his thumbnails because they're the exact same all the time, except for he's got different dates. He does it every Friday night. So usually what I do is I have a couple beers and I watch Jerry. But then this Jerry, the last one I have here. So just so everybody knows, here's my price predictions for my mainstay coins, which is what I had for a long time. Bitcoin 130, 150K. Ethereum, I think is going 8 to 10K. Chainlink 75 to 100. Cardano 5 to 7. Theta 30. Celsius 20 to 30 bucks. Stellar 2. Polkadot 75 to 100. Tezos 10. And I don't know even why I said 10. I think that's not even a smart one for me. VeChain 40 cents. EOS 15. Uniswap, I do think 60. Voyager, I still think it's going to 30. Aave 1500. Bitcoin Cash 5K because of what we talked about. And XRP, if they can win or at least settle with the SEC, I see between $5 and $8. Do you think that is good or is that too high, Jerry?
I don't know. I love XRP. Spent my first 2.5 years in this space as a card-carrying member of the XRP army. I can't get past the IRS treatment of XRP until it is, in the eyes of the IRS, deemed a virtual currency, not a piece of digital property. Yeah. I don't think XRP has a strong price for appreciation. When you look at how much Ripple owns,
yeah.
When you look at the tax treatment of any digital asset as a payment mechanism, it's not. And like stable coins are the only digital asset good for payments.
Yes.
If you're in the United States right now, and until that changes, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changing. I don't know.
I don't care how many people in Cambodia are sending money back to Japan using XRP. It does not create the value proposition. It's got to be US dollars. We're the largest market in the world. And until the largest market in the world gets into the payment space with a digital asset, And it ain't going to be XRP with the tax treatment. So,
okay. Well, so Jerry, think about this. We just covered this today. Brian Armstrong had a little trip to Washington, talked to Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve, talked to Nancy Pelosi, talked to everybody else. Do not give me a thumbs down because you hate Nancy Pelosi. Give me a thumbs down because the video sucked, not because you hate Nancy Pelosi. Right. So he just talked, Brian Armstrong just talked to her. And the whole thing was to see, what about this digital dollar? Let's say, devil's advocate, they're working on a digital dollar right now and they release it in the next, 12 months. What happens then? Do you think XRP could be used, or would the CBDC of the digital dollar just kind of supersede that, and then we would just use that?
Until XRP isn't deemed as a asset,
yes,
that can be taxed for capital loss or capital gains,
right?
It is not a payments coin. I'm sorry, not for the U.S. market, not for the largest market in the world.
Yeah,
we are the largest consumer market in the world by far. Nobody, mic drop, nobody even comes close.
True. Here's a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So Warren Butler, thanks, Warren. Hey, Rob, do you think China's ownership, quote unquote, of Africa in the form of trade could derail Cardano, thus forcing Africa to accept the digital yuan? I'll take this real quick. So you have to understand, what is the digital yuan? The digital yuan is essentially a CBDC. So that is what it's for payments, essentially. What is Cardano actually bringing to the table, right? They're going to bring the blockchain, it's still the same thing, but smart contracts, a digital ID, a form of payment to get into ownership, even if they could actually record land on the blockchain itself. That's the whole thing for the smart contracts as well, as also to get into finance and even healthcare. So can the digital yuan do all those things? No, it can be a payment type of service. Would they actually come in and force them to say, you must use the digital yuan? Yeah, maybe. I suppose so, if there's that much trade. But here's the question, though. We get a lot of our imports from China. Do you think we're going to use the digital yuan? Are you out of your mind? America will never, ever use the digital yuan. I mean, I just talked about this before. We were close, either we did it or we were close to it, banning TikTok because we didn't want these types of services, this type of program, this type of app that could infiltrate America and start to steal any kind of data. And I remember Trump was talking about it a long time. We're going to ban TikTok. I don't know if they did it for a while. They didn't do it for a while. But can you imagine China coming in and going, you're going to use a digital yuan and we're going to get all your information. And that's what you're going to use for trade for us. First of all, yeah, right. This is what we really should be doing. And I'm going to go off on a rant for a little second, is that all the different manufacturing that's being done in China needs to come to their own countries. And we should get out of China and bring it all the way back to wherever you're from. Bring your manufacturing jobs to the country that you're in. It'll build all those things. We've gotten too fat off the land of exporting all our jobs outside, bring them all back, make the manufacturing jobs there. And then, because I remember that thing, all the masks we had to use for this COVID-19. I don't care if you believe it, if it's true or not, we still had to wear masks. We couldn't even make masks here in America, especially in New York. Didn't have the supplies because we had to get it from China. That is a national security problem. I think they should bring everything back. So no, I do not think we're going to be using the digital yuan. If Africa uses it, that's another story. That was a long one. Sorry, Jerry. What do you think?
No, here's the thing. Back when you and I were young, really young.
That was a long time
ago. And, in the 80s, and we were finishing our schools and some of us were joining the military and protecting this country. The powers that be started to leverage what they call labor arbitrage, take advantage of the price of labor somewhere else, right? So manufacturing jobs just started leaving the U.S. because they didn't have to keep up with wage like they do here in the States, right? Yeah. And so we were really cool. We were really happy with exporting all those things, because we had all this other wonderful stuff to generate growth, right? Called debt. Yeah. We had an entire population that was willing to take on debt instead of create a good or a service.
Right.
I mean, we were just, hey, let's just create debt. It's so much easier than actually having to build a factory and get materials and build something and pay people to build it. We can do it over there for a lot cheaper. So anyway, long story short, we'll see how all that turns out. This digital asset space is going to level the field for a lot of people, but we have to remember this. 80% of the world's debt is denominated in the US dollar. The US dollar is not going away. Digital assets do not present a threat to the US dollar because I've never seen a company's balance sheet say they took out a loan in the digital yuan. They're taking out US dollar loans.
Yeah.
And until that whole mechanism changes, the US dollar is not giving up the king roost on the currency hierarchy.
No, I don't think I think it's here to stay for a while, but things seem to accelerate as time goes on. So, I mean, who knows?
It could take, you know what? China is invested a tremendous amount of money in infrastructure in Africa, Latin America, and throughout the Pacific Asia region, right? Mm-hmm. And when you are a huge investor in infrastructure in a country, you have a say. You do have a voice. And if they can start nibbling, and that's all it will be, is nibbling away at the US hegemony. It'll take your lifetime and my lifetime for the balance of power to swing. So that's nothing going to happen overnight.
But that's what China does, right? Play the long game.
They play it better than us. They do.
Yeah, they do.
We're so based on these election cycles and policy cycles of 2 year, 4 year, 2 year, 4 year.
4 years, that's all we can think about. We have a very short time frame, that's for sure. It's the Kardashian effect, I think. All right. Jerry, what else we got? Is that it? I think that might be it.
I just want to commend you on your show. You think you're the king of the shill. I think you're very inclusive. You have a tendency you have a much wider scope than I do. You're hearing about, and you're always out looking and interested in the new thing. I'm just trying to protect the little bit that I got. You know what I mean? And grow it a little more.
Spoken like a true multimillionaire. I will just tell you that. I'm just protecting the little stuff that I got. Jerry,
the
whatever.
Little scooch. My little slice of heaven.
That's why you're in Costa Rica, baller. Last one, it says, Jerry, if you like yield, look into TOSDIS. I don't know what that is. Yield farming and staking as a service for new projects, much cheaper than PCS. Only 100K. Ethan, BC, and Arapa. Okay, so if you're into that type of stuff, there. And then how about this?
I don't even know what FTM is.
I don't know.
That's how out of touch I am.
So George says, is there a possibility of making money with CBDCs like digital yuan?
Sure.
How do you do it?
You become a market maker for whatever trading partner is trading with the digital yuan, and it's an FX play. It's a forex trade. That's all.
Forex.
It'll be a forex trade.
You got to be a liquidity provider, and that's the big thing. But you usually have to have two pairs, right? Whatever it is and whatever else it is. So like Bitcoin and digital yuan or something like that. I'm not going to.
Exactly.
I will not touch that though. No, that's just me though.
Red-blooded American.
I'm a patriot. Hey. Speaking of which, it's the 4th of July, Jerry. What are you doing?
You know what? They don't celebrate that down here in Latin America.
Well, what are you doing? That's what I was saying.
I'm celebrating with you.
Thanks.
You know, I've been daydreaming on this property. I'm going to build down here. So I'm looking at property and I have criteria. It's got to have a river. I got to be able to generate electricity from water. I have to have a view. You know, I want to be within 30 minutes of the city I live in so that I can have access to all the great stuff here. So I've been, going out and looking at various properties and things, and kind of I'm watching construction channels on YouTube now. Watching guys build stuff and getting my ideas and sketching out stuff and learning about learning about hydroelectric power generation and
but Jerry, but the thing is, like, you got your little modest place and you got your pops there, you got your dad, he likes where he's at, he's all set.
He'll love the place I'll build for him. He will.
You know how it is. As you get older, you get curmudgeoned. You're just like, hey man, here's my friend George, Pollo Loco, 47% more hope. Hello, Pollo Loco.
Hello.
But yeah, man, I'm anxious to see what you build and what you make. That would be interesting. That will be.
I'll have you and your wife down. We'll do a D-News week, because I'm going to have a compound. There'll be bungalows and a big rec center, and we'll come down. We'll have a vacation fun investment course. It'll be just a ruse to have a big celebration. But we'll get a whole bunch of your listeners and followers down.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The 5 people that follow me on YouTube will come down. and we'll just do a whole thing about, looking at, how do we further our investment knowledge in our careers as a community, not as I know everything and I'll teach you something. It'll be, hey, let's come and share. And what better place than go down to Jerry's in Costa Rica? You're half an hour from the beach, right?
People like beaches, I hear.
Beaches. I'll be growing my own grapes. We'll make our own wine.
Okay.
Hello.
Sounds good. We'll do all that. All right, everybody. Well, look, we've gone an hour and a half, and I hope that answered a lot of your questions that we went over. So I'll try to put the timestamps in, but basically, we'll just sum it up like this. First of all, go check out Jerry V. Hall YouTube channel. You cannot miss his thumbnails. They look exactly the same. It's every Friday nights. You can't miss it. And
you don't tune in for the production value. Tune in for the content.
For the content. A lot of smart stuff. Here was all of my different predictions. Jerry pretty much poo-pooed all of them because he's super conservative, and he won't moon boy just like I do. Bat to $3. Bat to $3. StormX 50 cents. T-Fuel $1. Avalanche $75. I think that's conservative.
That would not hurt my
2
feelings.
cents. Yeah, cent I couldn't say. Solana $200. Polygon 4. Swissborg 4. IOTA 5. 2 cents for BTT. $300 for Filecoin. I think that's one we did kind of agree on a little bit.
Yeah, big time.
Mana $1. I mean, I don't see how it doesn't. What we just talked about. Digibyte 25 cents a throwaway. Meld $0.25. I don't know. That could go anywhere. And World Mobile Token, when it actually gets released, it's 20 cents right now. I don't see it not hitting $1, but I could be wrong. And this is all investment opinion, not investment advice. Do your own research. And also, we talked about Bitcoin briefly. I thought it's going between 130 and 150. Alex Mashinsky thinks it's going to 160, and he actually called it right in 2020. He said it's going to 30K, and he called it when it was 7,000. So I might be the low baller here. Ethereum 8 to 10K, 75. Cardano $5 to $7. Theta $30. Celsius 20. Stellar 2, Polkadot 75, Tezos 10, 40 cents VeChain, 15 EOS, $60 Uniswap. That's kind of moon boyish. Voyager 30, that's a little moon, but I still think it's going to make it. Aave $1,500, Bitcoin Cash 5K. I might have to redo that one. And XRP $5 to $8 if everything goes right with the SEC. And I really do think, Jerry, that they're going to settle and just pay a fine. That's my thought.
Oh, I think Ripple's going to win the case. See, my whole thing about XRP is not about Ripple. It's the IRS. I want to be real clear. I love XRP. I own XRP.
Oh, I know you do.
But for XRP to do what Ripple is built for RippleNet to really add value to the world and really just crush it with that coin, they need a tax treatment that does not view it as an asset. It has to be viewed as a virtual currency. And the IRS doesn't care that FinCEN has already in court declared it a virtual currency. So if the SEC comes out and declares it a virtual currency, that doesn't mean the IRS has to view it as a virtual currency until Congress tells them they have to.
We'll see what happens.
Write your congresswomen and your senators and your congresspeople. Write them. Tell them I want XRP as a virtual currency, not a digital piece of property. Change the IRS tax treatment, please.
Or we'll vote you out.
We'll vote in some other crypto-friendly person who's going to have their whole campaign on Decentraland.
Oh, imagine.
And we'll have virtual popcorn.
Virtual billboards. Virtual town hall meetings. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, see?
I
get it.
Imagine the first politician that does that.
Baller. It's happening. All right, everybody. So hour 30, that is my limit. That is it. Thanks for stopping by for the whole one. I appreciate it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, the thumbs down is broke. And but also consider subscribing. Check out Jerry Hall. And that's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody. See you on the next one.